Hello and welcome to another episode of Pitbulls, Parolees, and a Producer. My name is Billy Cooper. I am the executive producer and showrunner of Pitbulls and Parolees. I am joined today, of course, as always, by Miss Tia Torres, owner-operator of Villalobos Rescue Center and lead talent of Pitbulls and Parolees. And joining me also today, a very special guest here in the podcast studio, is Miss Mariah Harmony, second youngest daughter, and I'd say co-lead talent probably at this point, right? No, maybe
the other redhead that has to take
the other
over
redhead.
She's not there.
Yeah. Okay.
Shut up.
Thanks, Mom.
I don't think that was directed at you.
I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't. It was her
Well,
dogs.
Lafayette.
Oh, my boyfriend.
goes-
He knows I'm here. It's my favorite dog
Okay.
or hound.
All right.
Oh, you didn't even take him home.
Okay, so to the business, the easy business. This episode, we are going to be recapping an episode of Pitbulls and Parolees. We're specifically talking about season 2, episode 3. If you have not, you viewers at home, audience listening at home, if you have not seen the episode, first of all, what's wrong with you?
That just so long ago. Thinking about it, it's
What's wrong with you?
Oh,
and
yeah, well.
third, and second of all, you can go on to Discovery Plus, watch the episode, come back, and join us here. Also, a big shout out to our soon-to-be sponsor, Mariah. I'm like willing a sponsor into existence. I keep telling your mom she thinks I'm stupid. The show is sponsored by Chewy. Not really.
It's not.
It's not, but I hope it will be one day. And $100 order, free shipping. Come on, Chewy, bring it.
I'm gonna make a note to email them because they did email me, by the way.
See?
Okay. See, you see, that's the thing. The more I bring
I'm
it up,
with
I
you.
don't know that it's about this, but they did.
I'm with you. The more you keep
Post-it
talking about
notes.
something, the more likely
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Lafayette, you barf on me one more time. Oh my God, can you hear him?
Nope.
thankfully, no.
He's my favorite hound because I give him back after I hang out with him. I don't have to keep him.
Oh my God, and he's mad
It's like
because my
children.
back is to him.
I love him because I
well.
can give him back.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let me get to the episode statistics. This episode that we are talking about is called A Final Verdict. It originally aired on November 13th, 2010.
Atlanta.
And
Well, I was, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for aging me.
well, and it was produced probably in the spring of 2010. So Mariah, how old were you at that point? 16? 17?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm 30 right now. Sorry, I'm almost 31. So how old? I don't know. How long ago is that? I'm not doing
10
that.
years. So you were 20.
What year is it? I don't even know what day it is.
No,
it was 10 years ago.
she was 18.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
18,
Holy
yeah.
moly.
Yeah. So all right.
I was 18.
18. Okay. So, all right. So here is the episode. This is your mom's favorite part, or actually, your mom has two favorite parts of the episode. This is
Yeah.
not one of them.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Explains it a lot better.
So this is the episode description as featured on the TV guide, your episode guide.
So for you youngins that don't know what a TV guide is, it used to be this book that you could buy.
No, you get it in the mail.
And you could go read through it, and it would, or wherever, and then you would just like look at and see. A lot of people don't even know what a TV guide is.
Right. True. Yeah. I think your mom froze. Yes? No? Tia, you with us?
Nope. That's why she's just being here.
I'm just going to keep going and she'll rejoin us soon. Okay, so episode description. So after rescuing a pit bull from under a house, Tia begins to realize
Really?
that bringing...
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes, we got you
you're
back. Okay, you're back.
Okay.
I started reading
I was here.
I know.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
you
you're
were
right.
frozen.
You
My
froze.
thing just came up and said your internet connection is unstable. Well, story of my life, unstable. Wow. It can't just say your internet connection is slow. It has to call me unstable. That's what it just said.
True.
My internet connection is unstable.
No comment.
No comment. Exactly, no comment. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Tia, by the way, you're in trouble. The two of us, I usually don't have
You finally
help.
have backup.
I know. I don't usually have help here. What are we?
Well, don't
Your
make
mom.
me start
We
throwing
just.
some
I know. We decided.
politically
We
correct
decided.
comments at-
I know. Well, we members of the tribe need to stick together.
Yes. I'm glad she could even
And she's
hear
frozen
that.
again. All right, so I'm going to keep going. Okay. So after rescuing a pit bull from under a house, Tia begins to realize that bringing in more dogs than she's adopting is starting to take its toll, especially without her husband AJ. Things get tougher on the ranch when fundraising opportunity in Florida conflicts with a critical court appearance for AJ, forcing Tia to send the girls solo. Then, as she and one of her new parolees, Jimmy, prepare to adopt out a dog that made it back from the brink of starvation, Tia reaches a turning point in her life when it becomes clear that her husband could be facing life in prison. So this is a pretty, consequential episode.
Yeah.
In the history of the family, in the history of the show. So Mariah, your mom's frozen, so I'll turn to you here. So what do you remember most about this point in life? Show aside.
I don't know.
Can you guys even hear me?
Yes,
now we got you.
Now
we got you.
Yeah. Jesus.
Okay.
I keep freezing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know I'm unstable.
I think the hardest part was just seeing the hurt with everybody, and how emotionally painful it was for everyone.
Because it's just starting to trickle down on this place. I have no more money. They've taken all my money. I have went through my entire life savings. I've sold a house. Every dime I've made up training dogs, boarding dogs is gone. I still have Aaron's dirty clothes in the hamper from 2.5 years ago. I never washed them.
And at the same time, my mom was trying to keep the rescue afloat, and having your kids, and then at the time your husband, the person that she loved at the time, possibly never being able to be around him again, and then having to fund an entire rescue and all of these dogs at the same time that actually really need you. It's just, I don't know, everyone I felt our family was closer than ever at that point. We had to be. But watching your mom, even though she hides it really well, but I am her daughter, knowing that your mom's hurting was definitely the hardest thing. And I don't know.
Right.
It was a very, very transitional point in our family.
And I think, of the 4 kids, you probably had the close. You were sort of
really
more emotionally, because you, at the time, when AJ was at home, you were still living in the main house with your mom, right?
I moved out when I was like 16, and then
You moved.
You did?
Yeah, I
Where
moved
did
to
you go?
Eddie's property. Remember I was taking care of his dogs. The first day I moved out, I got a migraine, and you had to come take care of the dogs for me.
I thought you lived in the okay.
I moved into the below Eddie's house, took care of the dogs there, and then I moved. Did I move to Tick Canyon before I moved next door to you?
God, I didn't even know you moved out.
Yeah,
I didn't even know this.
Perfect.
that's normal.
Fair enough. Tia, what about?
Yeah, it was that point in my life. Aaron and I were really close.
Yeah.
And because I was a teenager, and just that point where my dad and I are best friends, but like having a man around at that point was extremely important in my life too. Him and I were really close. We were goofy. We played pranks on each other 24/7.
Right.
Like we were really close. So it was hard.
And Tia, what about you? Obviously, we've talked on different occasions about this particular episode, this particular time. Is there anything that, sort of thinking back on this that stands out in terms of this time?
Yeah,
with the
our
family?
life was turned upside down.
Yeah.
Like upside down. It was bad. It was bad. And I didn't see it coming until it hit.
Yeah. There's moments in this episode that really, I think, came as genuine shocks. In terms of when they tell you that they were trying it as a 3 strikes case.
We will be filing a new alleged 3rd strike, which is a strike that has not previously been alleged.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't understand, in California, there's a law, and I actually looked it up this morning. It's still on the books. It's changed.
I know it is.
It's
I
a
tried to
little
tell you
bit.
that.
Yeah, it's a little bit changed. They've tried to sort of clarify it a little bit, but if it's, Tia, you explain. You probably can explain it better than me. So what is the 3?
It was supposed to be, the 3 strikes law was created for violent offenders. So it's supposed to be for violent offenses. And what ended up happening is that the justice system kind of distorted the meaning behind it.
Right.
Next thing you know, guys are doing life when their 3rd strike is like possession, possession for sales of marijuana.
Or stolen, or in this case, stolen,
or
stolen,
theft,
right?
or
Stolen
theft.
property.
Yeah. So that's where it was just like, whoa. That's not what the 3rd strikes law was supposed to be about. But what can you do? Take on the justice system?
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy. The other thing that, at this time, this episode also featured you and your sister, Mariah, going on a road trip, sort of representing the rescue at a very big, bully convention.
Razor's Edge is inviting us to a big dog show in Florida. The Razor's Edge Dog Show, it's kind of like the Westminster event for the bully breeds.
We can't thank you enough for having us here. My mom is really bummed that she couldn't be here, but as some of you know, she's dealing with a lot of crap right now. Having you all for support is what keeps us strong.
Yeah.
Had you guys done? I mean, we made a big deal about it on the show that it was the first time you guys were going solo. I'm sure that we on the show didn't know that you probably done that before.
Where was this one at?
This was the one in Orlando.
It was the first one we did where they
It was
had
the Razor's Edge.
Yeah, it was the first one because we did a bunch of them to raise money, but that was the first one Sissy and I went to. I have pictures from that still of Dave.
Is this the one where everybody was really rude to you guys?
No, everyone was really nice.
No,
So they had one where everybody was like super rude.
Tia, this was the one where they came back with a wad of cash and Tanya pulled it out of her shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right here. It's not my boobs, so don't be excited. It's a little more than...
Oh, great. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. No, everyone was really nice. Dave, he always took really, really good care of us.
Oh, this is where Dave was at. Dave Wilson was at.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
Dave
always
Wilson.
took really good care
Yeah,
of
he was
us.
always good to us.
Everyone was more excited, and I don't know. No one was mean.
Yeah. I mean, and those events back then, Tia, those became, you relied on those fundraising events, not necessarily for your own thing, but I think, before the show sort of had a lot of popularity and you sort of do it out on your own.
What made this such a controversial moment was that these bully events, for those who don't know what we're talking about,
yes,
bully meaning American bully. American bully is a type of dog. Basically, if I had to define it in a really quick cliff note kind of way, it's basically if a English bulldog and a pit bull had a baby. They're these little squatty, cute little pit bull dogs. They're super goofy, super sweet, and they were created by a breeder, and he named the lineage Razor's Edge. Everybody has heard of Razor's Edge, you know? And so Dave Wilson was the founding creator. So this was the way, you see a lot of these rescue groups say, well, maybe it's time these breeders support some of these rescues since they're the ones, ruining for the rescues, putting out more dogs. So what happened was Dave Wilson at Razor's Edge put it out. He said, all right, I'm going to do it. We're a bunch of breeders and we're going to raise you money.
Right.
So that's what they did. They put their money where their mouth is, literally.
It also turned into an educational thing too. At points going to these bully shows, you were able to come and sit down and talk to a lot of people, and a lot of it became educational and talking through stuff with them too. So it was a few different.
Right, and then also, I think there was
it.
also, I know, Tia, if I remember us talking about this because I think I had no idea there was coming on the show. I'm not I was not versed in the dog world. Obviously, the big secret, I'm allergic to dogs, so that was always sort of thing. But you guys explained that you went to these to educate people about responsible breeding. I mean, obviously you don't believe in breeding, but because there are enough dogs, you always said there are enough dogs in the world. Why do we need more?
Well, even within that world, I mean, when you're walking around the convention center and there's some people that are super into, protecting their lineage with their dogs for breeding. And then there's some that don't give a shit, so you get the good and the bad in any genre of people. There's just, do. There's just no perfect blanket statement you can make about any group of people, no matter what they do. Yeah.
And then Tia, I mean, if I remember the day that the crew filmed, I remember because it was a very sort of like, I think it was one camera guy. I think it was Andrew was up there with you the day that you got all the calls and you were sort of you were forced to make this decision about AJ taking the deal for the third strike.
Spoke to AJ. His words to me were call you and tell you that whatever you say, he'll do, period. You want to take it or not?
I was put on the spot. So the DA standing right here. The whole courtroom knows that AJ wants me to make the decision. Accept the DA's 15-year deal or take a chance and go to trial and get life.
And it was one of those days where I think you were like, get those fucking cameras out of my face. And I remember it was like we thought, oh, we're going to miss this. It's not going to happen, And so it was like, was there a moment where you were like, I can't have this on TV anymore. This is too much.
I don't remember that far back. I just remember it was a dark time. I remember that my brain was on overload. I was having to try to juggle all these different things. And the thing is this, and for those that don't understand the way the justice system works. So when you hear about somebody getting offered a plea deal, the layman automatically says, well, if you're innocent, go to trial, because if you're innocent, you'll get found not guilty.
Right.
It is absolutely not true. And not, not every time. So what happened with AJ's case, and I'm not saying if he's innocent or he was guilty, I'm just talking about the meat and potatoes of what they were offering. They decided to strike him out, meaning we're going to hang a third strike over your head. Okay. Yeah, we know it's not a violent charge. It's a theft charge, but you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do it anyways. That's basically what the district attorney said. All right. So that being said, okay, you can go to trial because AJ wanted to go to trial. They said all it takes is one person to think you're guilty and change everybody's mind, and you're going to go do life. Do you want to take that chance? Yeah. Okay. So he was willing to, but then his attorney was saying, AJ, look at you. You're an ex-convict who just did 14 years in prison. You're tattooed from the neck to your toes. I guarantee you're not going to convince 12 people that you're a good guy.
Right.
So that's what it became, where do you want to gamble? And it's so easy to be on the outside looking in and saying, oh, you're innocent? You fight it.
Well, I think, the thing to you, for me, at that time, especially from on the show side, when you sat down Mariah and Tanya and the twins, you sat the four of them down. There's that moment. I remember that
perfectly.
I know you guys are confused. I don't know what's going on with Aaron's case. It basically came down to 25 to life. We're not going to budge. That's it. So we were getting ready to go to trial, and the attorneys went back and forth, and they got it down to a little over 15 years. And they're highly advising that Aaron take this deal.
Wouldn't you rather go and try and fight it and then try and appeal the case after, knowing that he proved his innocence and
in a
he would have
normal
done
case,
the same years?
Yes, but he's looking at life.
Yeah, and Mariah became, for me, the voice of the audience. You became my voice as the viewer. You were like, don't you want him to fight? Don't you, why do we want to do this?
Right. Now it makes sense, though, not like it. Now it makes sense to me, but yeah. It was an emotional thing, and all that I cared about was fighting, because that's what I was taught by my mom. You fight.
Right.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but to think like that, now looking back, it's a very naive thing, because you just don't understand the way the law works.
I didn't then. I do now.
Well,
the justice system.
But rightfully so. You're 18. Rightfully so that you have the naive point of view. That, let's fight.
Here's the thing. If AJ had gone to trial, he probably would have been found guilty. There's just no way you're going to convince 12 people,
right?
That at some point or another you weren't involved in these thefts, because of his track record,
right?
And because of the way he looks. So he'd be doing life. But that being said, he got out of prison eventually, and got into trouble, and now he's back in jail.
Yeah.
And now the charges he's facing, he probably will get struck out.
Wait,
he probably will get
all
a third
that
strike.
You told me was that he had gotten out again. I didn't know he went back in.
Yeah, I just found out that he went back. He's back in jail. He's fighting a case, and the charges are serious this time. So, see, now he's got charges on him that are worthy of a third strike.
Yeah.
Hate to say, they are worthy of a strike.
Yeah.
So,
Tia, do you think this episode combined with, because this was kind of the end of AJ's, appearances on the show, like sort of his presence on the show. And we're only in episode 3 of season 2. But I think this episode in particular was so powerful and so emotional and so critical. Do you think that was one of the reasons why he became such a sort of fan fascination for years to come?
I think it's because everybody wants to fight for the underdog.
True.
And the thing is this, again, the stuff that he was charged with back then, to this day, still remains a mystery for me. I don't know, because there were so many, they had a gambit of theft charges on him.
Aren't they just pulling random stuff at that point?
Oh, it was every time we thought we had one figured out, they're like, oh, a new one. I said, wait, what?
Oh,
they were just grabbing all these things for other cases from everywhere. And
for instance, and if I hadn't lived it, I would not believe me.
Right.
But for instance, there was one particular thing, one charge of theft where they said he was using a stolen credit card at a gas station. Okay.
Oh, right. You've told me this story.
So when we ended up hiring the guy who oversees loss and prevention, what is it called? Loss prevention for that gas station. He was able to prove that AJ didn't do that.
Right.
Okay,
You
so
said they had the receipt, this timestamp receipt that it wasn't him. And
it wasn't even the right. Yeah. So anyways, we're ready to go into this hearing, and this guy's going to testify on AJ's behalf. He couldn't have done that. That receipt that the cops are using, that didn't even come from our gas station. So we're thinking, oh, great. And then all of a sudden, Your Honor, we have another charge we're adding. Wait, what? Yes. Apparently there was a woman at a park in Palmdale who left her $11,000 diamond ring in her car. And we believe AJ broke in and stole it. Oh, do you have fingerprints or something or a witness? No, but it was in the same area as the gas station. What?
Right.
So no fingerprints, no physical evidence, no eyewitness. It was just because it was near the gas station.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's what it became. Every time we thought we had one charge beat, they just kept adding more. And I said, if I hadn't lived this myself, I never would have believed that this stuff actually happens.
Yeah.
And that's when I said,
yeah,
I said, you're not going to get out of this. You need to take the deal.
And the deal was 8 years. And that was the thing that was,
no.
How many years was it? It was 15 surveyed or something?
No, 15.
15.
They said, we're going to give you a gift.
So
15 years.
Right.
So at half of that, he'd end up doing 8 years or something.
But he didn't. He did all 15.
And that was the
almost.
thing. I remember, I would always
almost.
sort of, sadly joke, but making the show, I always said, I'm like, well, that'll be the end of the show. We'll do the, the end of the show will be knock, knock, knock. Hey, honey, I'm home. And AJ shows up, and then screen goes black. And it was, wait, what? Yeah. And little did we know. I mean, that actually almost happened, sort of, maybe. I don't know. He was getting out, and there was talk that he was going to move here. It didn't happen, but,
No, I divorced him.
Right. Yeah. And also, Tia, you had reached also the end of your financial rope with this, right?
Because the inheritance I got, I spent it all on his court case.
Right. So I think it was sort of it was financial, it was emotional, it was.
Yeah, but this wasn't even a financial issue because this became all about AJ's former case, the one that he did 14 years for.
Right.
Because it involved law enforcement officers, which never came out on the show, by the way. I don't think it ever came out.
No, we
he did the 14 years for.
Well, that was the thing. I was going to ask you if you want to talk about that now, because I think we had talked about that, and I think at the time we didn't want to go there because we didn't want to. I don't know. We just didn't want to go there.
People kept saying, why were they gunning after AJ so bad? I said, okay, right. I'm going to tell you why. He had just got done doing 14 years for attempted murder on 2 police officers. Okay. So when he was really young, I want to say 18, 19, something like that, he got into a shootout and with 2 cops. Okay. Didn't hit anybody, didn't hurt, nobody got hurt. In the course of that shootout, he then managed to jump through the open window of their cop car and took off in their cop car and stole it for about a week or so. So that added a little.
For a week?
I think it was a while. Yeah. So that added a little insult.
Just rolling inconspicuous in a cop car. Whatever. So sure.
That added a little insult to injury.
Yeah.
They were after at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure those cops felt like dopes that that he stole their car.
The reason I know they held a grudge because they told me to my face.
Oh.
To my face. Okay. When AJ got out, the day he got out, after doing 14 years, and when you get out, you have to report to the parole office.
Right.
So I drove him to the parole office in Orange County, and we were walking across the parking lot. I actually had Lefty, one of my pit bulls, with us. He was sitting in the truck, and we're walking across the parking lot, and literally the same time, him and me, we both felt someone grab the back of our shirt, and we both got slammed down on the concrete, face first. I look up, and it's a woman. He's got 2 guys, and they pulled out their badges, and one of the cops told AJ, "Welcome home, Jackson."
Oh.
And the female said, "You think we forgot what you did?" And I said, "Okay, this is not going to end." And the female cop told me, she pulled me aside to give me a talk as she's, dumping my purse out and everything. And she said, "What are you doing with this guy?" And I said, well, I've known him for years. You know, at this point, he's just a friend. And she's, let me give you some advice. If you continue to associate with him, your life will be ruined.
Wow.
The rest is history.
Right.
Brave
So it became
doing
about
that with a dog too. That's kind of brave of her to do that when you had Lefty too.
No, Lefty was in the truck.
Oh, okay. I thought you were walking
Yeah.
with Lefty. I was like,
No,
I wouldn't
no,
grab
no.
someone with their dog right there.
I mean, the other thing also, Tia, I think for me as the sort of viewer or the, you know, producer of this is when I think it codified that it was you and the kids against the world. Like that was it. It was you, and it was the five of you, and that was
because AJ's shit rolled down onto us.
Right.
When they took him away to jail, we still have to deal with the repercussions of it.
Right.
Like the cops didn't just say.
Do you remember
the
what
cops,
happened to
the
me
public,
getting pulled out of the car every time I leave I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Even my little sister from my dad's side, because she was with us at the rescue all the time.
Yeah.
I would get, every time I would come off of our dirt road, every single time I would get pulled over, put in the back of the cop car. They'd search my car, find nothing. My little sister, any friends that left my house. This was every single time I left my house. I got pulled over, put in the back of the cop car. Anyone that was with them, it was nonstop. They followed us places. Like,
they wanted me to they thought I had some big evidence, so they wanted me to give evidence up on AJ because of his former gang affiliation. So, and here's the thing, I am not anti-cop, but I was anti those cops because they became like a gang themselves, these particular
they were
group of cops.
targeting us.
Yeah.
And then
so
when did it sort of subside? I mean, when you guys left California?
When we moved to Louisiana.
Yeah. People, that's the other thing people didn't know too. Like, this is where we wanted to be, but it got so bad for us at one point that we couldn't take being in California anymore.
Right.
Like, they were not going to stop following us everywhere. Not only that, we were ready to go. This is our home. But
it was one of the reasons we left. But yeah, like shining lights in my window at 3:00 in the morning.
Right. Well, it didn't help. Also, your neighbor wasn't your neighbor. His son was a cop, and that
no, his son's a firefighter.
Oh,
our neighbor was a cop. Yeah,
he was in SWAT.
Yeah, SWAT.
And he was always helping.
He didn't like us very much.
He wasn't a big fan.
No.
Yeah.
We
but so it just became one of the many reasons, and it was just the pressure. And again, here's AJ off in jail, so he's not even feeling any of this. He's got a different thing going on, but we're getting the backlash of it all.
And in the meantime, the show is the producers are like, I mean, I would probably say we were dumb to this. Like, we didn't really know a lot of what was going on behind
because we didn't put this part on. We didn't. Yeah. It was just too dark. It was too depressing. It was too dark.
Yep.
I was barely functioning at that point. I could barely function emotionally.
Yeah. I mean, physically though. I mean, that's the thing. Physically at the time, I mean, like, let me bring it back around to now. This is sort of. I have to get back to the business of what I'm doing here. So like, I mean, we're talking about the episode. So, this episode also featured, along with AJ, we also had, Tia, this is when you rescued baby Leroy under the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, kind of funny. So, this also was, like we said, the Razor's Edge fundraiser. And then Jamie, the your assistant attorney, this is when he sort of adopted Crunch, but it didn't go through. It didn't take. What do you remember? I mean, let's talk about the Crunch adoption, because Crunch became, Crunch ultimately got adopted years and years later.
His own little celebrity.
Yeah, but what was Jamie? It just didn't work, right? Because Jamie has living situation was somewhat transient, right?
I transient. My God.
No, he moved a couple of times and like.
Honestly, I can't remember why it didn't work, but it didn't work.
It didn't work. It didn't take.
Yeah.
And so And then, of course, this was Parolee Jimmy with working with Crunch.
Crunch, come here, boy. Come here, boy. Crunch.
You remember? And
Jimmy, the Jimmy that I used to always say, "I'll see you when I'm looking at you." That was always his and we still use that term today. Me and Kanani remember that when we always, Mom, what? See you when I'm looking at you.
I'll see you when I'm looking at you if I do, buddy.
But you also, Tia, this was my one of my favorite that you introduced, because we did this recurring thing. It became a recurring theme, and this is my, So obviously, I think we can all agree the standout story from this episode was AJ's case, because it made this a seminal episode.
Yep.
But the first time we met Jimmy, and Jimmy tells you, he drops the bomb on you in this episode where he was having a kid.
You're having a baby?
Yes. Well, my girl just told me I just got some news yesterday, it was, and I might be having a baby.
Well, you guys like want to prepare me for all this news?
And
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was not a thing, but then it led to you teaching Jimmy the baby voice, which I remember was just so, because Jimmy was like, Crunch, come on, Crunch, Crunch, come here, Crunch. It's just so stupid.
Yeah. Now see if you can call him to you.
Come here, boy. Come here, Crunch. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, Crunch. Come here, boy. Come here, Crunch. Come here, good boy.
There you go. You're getting
Come here,
better.
Crunch. Good boy.
See,
boy.
you started off with, come here, Crunch,
Come here,
come here.
good boy.
The minute you started that, he turned around.
I mean, but that technique became a recurring thing. I remember you teaching Earl how to do it. It was just kind of a funny, thing.
A cute moment.
Yes. All right. So this, Mariah, is the moment where I get to tell your mom she has an opportunity to get in a DeLorean and have a time machine moment. If there was something that she wanted to do differently from this episode, what would she do? What do you
not
think?
have married AJ.
Right.
I mean,
Clearly.
that I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything? I mean,
I don't, but I only remember bits and pieces of this episode because I didn't have time to watch it before. You were supposed to send me your Discovery Plus sign-in, lady. You never did.
They may have,
so I
they may have
couldn't
given
watch
me
this.
They may have given me the boot.
There may not be Discovery Plus for a while. Shh, we'll see that. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
whoops.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only remember bits and pieces. Going to the show, I remember sitting down and having that conversation.
Yeah.
The cases, obviously.
Right. I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, bringing AJ into your life, Tia, I mean, it was just, it became a problem.
Disaster.
Yeah.
I know what I would have done differently, not wearing the outfit I wore to that show.
What did you wear?
You're wearing
No, I'm just kidding.
You're wearing a
it's
shirt.
It's just one of those things. No, it was a shirt from the rescue. That was great.
Right.
But it's just those things when you look back and you're like, what was I wearing?
Well, this is when we also started to
I think I was wearing the shirt I loved. It was If It Ain't Pit, It Ain't Shit, I think.
No.
Was it not that one?
I don't think so.
Because I remember having to put tape over that.
There were a couple versions of that one. Yeah, the producers, we weren't big fans of the If It Ain't Pit, It Ain't
Yeah,
Shit
but I knew it would
show.
sell there.
Yeah.
So I wore it.
Yeah.
Promotion for the rescue.
This
I
was
have
also-
to use myself, unfortunately.
This was also the first time we started to realize that your hair would start changing colors mid-episode.
How long's my hair been red now, though? And it's not going to change now.
I know.
Now that we're not filming currently, I have
We-
the same
what do
hair
you mean?
color.
What are you talking about? We are filming
Oh,
currently.
yeah, right now,
Yeah,
but-
and other things.
I know that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Anyway. All right, so then to just bring it around, so then we also do an MVP. This is your mom's most hated aspect. So so we get to, it's the most valuable pit bull, most valuable person in the episode. So
And would you have to pick your favorite dog in the episode? Doesn't that
I
suck?
don't even know what dogs are in the episode.
So, okay, this
Probably one of the bullies I saw at the friggin'
well, hold on. So this was the episode.
Oh!
Yeah, what? Go ahead.
Wait, is this the one where I don't know if you guys even filmed it being at the show where I
No.
almost took a dog home from one of the
No.
shows that rescued. Okay, never mind.
No, this was so Duke. This was also the episode that concluded with your mom getting the tattoo of Duke on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
This particular portrait of Duke, it just represents everything that Villalobos is about. It's all over our business cards. It's the sign to our ranch. It just shows this magnificent animal looking over the valley and looking over me.
As a sort of, a little catharsis for, I mean, that was always in the works of
Wait,
here, right?
I thought that was healing while we were swimming out of our house here because didn't it get
No,
infected?
that was the
That was
Wolfman
my
tattoo.
That was my Wolfman tattoo.
Okay, wrong tattoo.
You're right. Yeah, no, that was Tia. Was Duke your first tattoo?
No, I'm on her whole back.
No. Mariah, I have a mural of Mariah and
With my
LA on my
dog.
back.
Oh, okay.
That's me walking my dog LA.
Got
and
it.
My little polka dot dress.
But yes, but we went.
And then I have Duke as a gargoyle on my shoulder blade.
Got it. So this
And then
was.
I have Duke's paw print on my ass cheek, covering up her dad's name.
Wait, I wonder if Daddy knows that. I'm going to tell him.
Does he know?
Yes, he knows
does he?
that.
Well, does he know there's a
That
tattoo
was
there?
funny.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Got it when after I left him. I put his.
I don't know.
No,
It
he's
took
never
him
seen
3
it 'cause I
tries to
got it
get my
we
name
split
after
up.
covering other women's names up and then finally put my name over it. So.
Okay, I think
I covered up John's
I've
name with
reached.
Duke's
Yeah.
paw print.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Okay.
Whatever.
So the dogs featured in this episode were Duke, Crunch, and Baby Leroy.
Well, of course Duke's going to be her favorite dog. What do you
Right.
mean?
See, Tia, this one's a freebie. Duke is your favorite.
Duh.
Yeah. You? I always loved
Duke,
Baby
Crunch,
Leroy.
or
Yeah. I mean, Crunch.
I
became-
mean, Duke, it's always going to be Duke for me, too. That dog was such a big part of my life
Yeah.
growing up. And watching that dog work was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. So
Oh.
I don't know how many movie sets I was on with that dog, and he was I don't know. There will never be another Duke, so of course he's always going to be my
Lassie of
favorite.
pit bulls.
He was just, that dog was so smart and intense and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely, if she could make a man, it would be acting like Duke, like her perfect man. Listens to what she says,
Right.
really
No,
smart,
I know. Yeah.
beautiful looking.
Yes. All right. So the most valuable person in the episode, obviously, Tia, I think for what you endured, I think that you, Jimmy, and then obviously you and your sister for making your way to the Razor's Edge. And, this is a weird category when you're here.
So why do you have these categories?
I have to figure out a way somehow to get, because, neither of you guys watched the episodes. So I have to remind you what happened in them somehow.
Yeah.
Right?
Who wants to watch when you look 20 years younger and 20 pounds or 40 pounds
I like
lighter?
I like who I am a lot more than back then. So I
Well,
like
of
me more
course,
now.
Yeah.
30s are the best years.
Yeah. Thanks for that one.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, now that we've gotten to that point, okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up. This is the end of this episode. So Mariah will probably join us for other episodes. Yes.
I would assume so.
Yes.
There's only one that I want to do because I think it'll be funny. But
Oh, do I know this episode? Do I know this? Which one?
Marcel.
Oh, well, that's a ways away.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Tia, thank you for joining us. This episode of Pipples, Parolees, and a Producer was produced by Candace Cobbett, Amanda Moser, and joining us today, Dana Langford. Hey, guys. Everybody wave.
I didn't know.
Dana's there.
Oh, yeah.
It's so
Dana and I
quiet.
screamed.
Yeah.
It was a surprise
Dana, say
to me,
hi.
too.
Say there.
I hear her.
Yeah. Well, Tia, you're supposed to be here today, but, obviously that didn't
I
work.
have
Traded
dogs that
in
are
one
making me
redhead for
crazy.
another.
Right, there's that. So, anyway, all right. Everybody stay tuned for more episodes of Pipples, Parolees, and a Producer. We're making our way through season 2. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Good day, sir.
Yay. Good day, sir. Good love.